Some stunning new developments tied to one of Ohio's biggest disasters to date. News Nation learning the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency appears to have tried to discredit an independent scientist along with outspoken residents after that train derailment disaster in East Palestine back in 2023. News Nation's Rich McHugh has been following this from the very beginning. He spent a lot of time in East Palestine. Rich, what else are you learning?
Hi, Nicole. Well, listen, the more we dig into this story and this cover-up in East Palestine, the more shocking it is. And now we have internal EPA emails that show that they were tracking and ultimately trying to discredit an independent scientist who found troubling levels of dioxins, which are toxins, in East Palestine, and was contrary to their message. They also were tracking residents. Now, independent testing expert Scott Smith found elevated levels of dioxins in the soil after that burn in the spring of 2023, after we reported Smith's findings, and former EPA Administrator Judith Enck said the EPA should pay attention to Smith's test results. EPA emails show they began collecting his personal information, tracking his movements, distributing his whereabouts to over 50 EPA employees. They even circulated photos of his dog. We even documented drones hovering over him on multiple occasions, monitoring his actions.
It's troubling because this is a matter of transparency and truth and protecting public health. What the EPA seems to have done here in East Palestine is they were more interested in controlling the narrative and controlling what was going out to the community, from the community and back to the community. They were definitely controlling the narrative of nothing to see here, no long-term health impacts.
So Smith has been to East Palestine testing over 30 times, met with RFK Jr. there, where you can see on the screen with some residents. RFK called him an extraordinary advocate for the people of East Palestine. He says taxpayer dollars should be spent on testing, not surveilling him.
They don't want to look for the full spectrum of chemicals that I look for. And instead of sitting down with me and having a dialogue for the benefit of the community, they launched this, smear and campaign and undermining it. It's pretty clear in their own words. They're clearly not serving the community they're supposed to protect. And it's not just East Palestine, Rich. It's a systemic thing.
So it's very clear, Nicole, this was all about public relations and keeping their narrative that there was no trouble, no threat to the community.
Rich, so in addition to Scott Smith, what does the EPA say about tracking residents?
Well, EPA gave us a statement. They essentially tried to push it onto the Biden administration, the Biden EPA. They said, we are very concerned by claims that have come to light over the past few months. The Trump administration is committed to maximum transparency. As such, we intend to conduct a thorough review of decisions made in the aftermath of the train derailment. We will work to ensure the health and safety of the people of East Palestine. I spoke with a resident, Jamie Wallace. She was one of the residents who were surveilled. Her Facebook posts were cataloged and whatnot. She has a message for the EPA and this current administration.
They tried to control this narrative and act like none of us had any long-term health risk, and we're not stupid. We see it, we feel it. I say it's never too late to try to right a wrong. We know, everyone knows. The EPA knows, the government knows, the US citizens know that we got screwed. From the beginning, there were mistakes made, there were flaws, but you just don't continue to cover those up and forget about a whole community that's now gone from symptoms to long-term illnesses. What you do is you try to make that right.
So the more we report on East Palestine, Nicole, the more clear and the more troubling this cover-up appears.
All right, Rich McHugh continuing to follow that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.